Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to give you guys the update on my EK Ignite Elementalist. The last update is like 3 days ago when I finished the league start. Means I've done all my maps, I've got my 4 void stones, and now I invested quite some more currency into the build since I've been grinding quite a bunch lately. And we went into spell suppression, got our polaric devastation. There is a cat that is very needy. Hello Suki, how's it going? Mwah. Can I record a video? Thanks. Awesome. We got the Death Rush, for example, for mapping, and I want to just talk a bit more about these kind of things. So there's always a difference between like spending currency, or at least like what is something worth, and how much did I spend, for example, right? So that's why I would assume that I spend about like 50 divines into the build in the current stage. We're far away from any kind of like Mage Blood Headhunter niveau, but we're getting there with my current farming strategy that I posted, I think like yesterday. If you want to copy that one, which is like a Delirium Guardian farming strategy with some Searing Exarch or Eater of Worlds. And yeah, actually let me quickly put down the cat because I cannot focus. No, actually interrupting the video. Good. I would say we're just gonna run a quick map for the map showcase. There is one thing that I want to mention here. My current helm, or the one that I had before that I crafted, also 14% spell suppression on a hybrid evasion energy base, is currently in the lab enchant service, and that's why I don't have it here, because it would be the same here with Searing Exarch, Eater of Worlds, with Essence Crafted Mana Reservation Efficiency, and then I can have my Herald of Purity on, right? So since my helm is in lab enchant service, I just bought another one for like 20 chaos or something, so that's why I cannot use Herald of Purity as of right now, but I did fix it in the path of building, link in the description below. So yeah, overall we have enough damage now to just easily run haste as our permanent aura, more or less, for the blessing support. It's only for bossing where I actually swap into Malevolence, or if I'm getting like high levels of Delirium, and other than that, absolutely not needed anymore. I think I have like over 5 million DPS or Ignite DPS in the current version. Means I probably tripled my damage from the last video, as well as I went from like 30k EHP to I think like close to 100,000 already. Going with the spell suppression, having higher values of armor, map bosses, whatever, it's just a super breeze. With the current farming that I'm doing, I'm usually getting up to like 6 or 7 treasure rewards in those Defiled Cathedral maps. I'm running those maps for potential Mage Blood cards that I most likely never gonna get or never gonna see, but it just feels better to run in an environment where you could drop one of these cards and just, yeah, you know, make like a 30-40 divines extra if you just run a map, and I think that feeling is just quite nice. So more Searing Exarch altars. I also did start to farm challenges, so I think I've done like 20 challenges right now, 21, and I'm currently farming the last 5 of these Searing Exarch. Then I go back to the Eater of Worlds and still hope for these weird currency shrine that I'm most likely never gonna see as well. But it is what it is. I just have such an amazing time with this build, just running around, exploding everything. Pretty much a bow playstyle, if you compare it like that, because we are shooting projectiles in the front, means it literally plays like alley hit or something, you know. And we have this ignite prolif goes off. It's just so much fun just running around, blowing up packs, and that's why I don't really have a certain strategy. I just want to run around and kill monsters. And I do already have quite a substantial amount of playtime on the build already. So I have like 3 days, 19 hours, so almost 4 days. So we're closing into like 100 hours in this 1 week that I grinded on this character. Slash kills, we have like 650,000 monsters killed as well. So we're almost done with this one challenge where you have to like kill 1 million monsters. So it's just a lot of fun to do with this build. Good. So what did change? There's actually 3 major things that changed in the build. One is the spell suppression change that I have on my gear here, on the gloves, the boots, and the helmet. Then the gem upgrades, as well as an elegant or a brutal restraint that I purchased like 3 days ago, which I think is the best one, the C3250, which just adds a lot of effect of auras here on the cruel preparation. on the Breath of Flames. Here we have Discord Artisan with an 8% increased effect of auras, and the increased duration of ailments on the enemy. Here I think it's just like poison damage, or yeah, poison inflict 10% faster. But 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 points that we skilled have a very useful note, especially aura effect, because the further we go into the builds, later on when we switch to a bow, for example, and we're going to run a 5-link aura setup or a 6-link aura setup with an Enlightened support, a mana reservation efficiency enchant on the helmet, then we can activate Grace on top. So we run Grace, Determination, Discipline, Herald of Ash, Herald of Purity, Vitality, Malevolence, Haste. So we're pretty much getting to an aura stacker level, and this is where all of these aura effect nodes are going to kick in quite hard. I got myself 2 Megalomaniacs for now. One is the one with Doriani's Lesson for Life Leech with Brush of Death, or Brush with Death, which is like really nice quality of life for mapping with a dot multi and recover life and energy on kill, as well as Towering Threat. And the other one has Fan the Flames, Hatred, Mana Reservation Efficiency, and Veteran Defender, which I think is actually a pretty nice note here, because all attributes, all resistance, and increased defenses from shield, and I'm running a hybrid shield with evasion energy shield, so we're gonna get like a bunch. Just if I unequip this, we are currently on 2.2 KES, I unequip this one and we get down to 1.6. So this shield gives me like 800 energy shield, not only because we get an increased effect of our shield, but also because of our Skin of the Lords with the increased global defenses, which means which counts basically for armor, evasion, and energy shield. And if I have my flasks up, for example, we have like a 7,000 molten shell shield and like 20 or almost 30,000 armor, like a couple thousand evasion. Later on, if we add grace, we're gonna get to like really good levels of defense. We're ailment immune. Oh, this is also another thing. I'm gonna talk about that right away, just because before I forget it. We're ailment immune in the case that we got now a Storm Shroud jewel. So this is one of the new jewels, and says modifiers to chance to avoid being shocked apply to elemental ailments. So that means I have here an Abyss jewel that says a 47% chance to avoid being shocked, and this would be now 47% chance to avoid elemental ailments, okay? And the other, what is it, 53% I still get from my boots, because they have chance to avoid elemental ailments on the implicit, and 34, which is an essence craft, on the suffix here, right? So we have like 54 over here, 47 over here, and we are ailment immune. So why does this work? Why does chance to avoid elemental ailments work actually for the Storm Shroud? So you have to think about fire res, cold res, lightning res, or all resistance, all elemental resistance. So it's just one step higher, you know? One is like a specific resistance, and all resistance covers all the resistance. And this is the same thing. You can have like reduced ignite duration, reduced effect of chill, avoid being shocked, or avoid elemental ailments, which covers all of them, okay? So this is just additive, the avoid elemental ailments with the chance to avoid being shocked. Once we reach 100% and have the Storm Shroud jewel, we are completely ailment immune, and this is super quality of life. And my jewel here has a Corrupted Blood on top of that. I searched it just for like avoid being shocked with Corrupted Blood, and just bought the cheapest one that was on the market, I think like 20k or so, something like that, and we are ailment immune. And I think this is like a better way of fixing it, right? Good. Gem-wise, I upgraded now to Awakened Gem, so I have a 620 Awakened Unbound Ailments. We have a Burning Damage support. We do have the Swift Affliction and an Empower level 4. And thanks to the Skin of the Lords, all of these gems get a +2 on these on the levels, basically, right? So pretty good. Just upgrading the gems almost doubled my DPS, especially when it comes to the Empower, because in the old version I was running a Cruelty support, and now we're running a level 6 Empower. That's 5 levels to EK. Massive damage increase over here. Good. We talked about the Brutal Restraint, the Ailment Avoidance, my Megalomaniac, my Large Cluster Jewel, which is basically Sadist, and Prismatic Heart with Disorienting Display. Prismatic Heart, always good to fix your resistance, and that's pretty nice. So I would say let's talk about the items. How did I craft them? This is actually quite easy. So I did, as I said, my helm is currently in Lap Enchant service, so forget about the helm for now. Boots, gloves, and helmets, all of those with the chance to suppress spell damage. And the easiest way to find those items, and this is like a problem because they don't exist right now. So if we do suppress spell damage as a fractured modifier, we're gonna go here 14. Then we say energy shield 1 and evasion 1. That means it doesn't matter how much energy shield is on there, but it has to be energy shield on there. And if I do evasion and energy shield 1, I know that the outcome is gonna be an evasion energy shield base, right? And then we're gonna search for that, and then we're gonna get a bunch of these items that are having those that are hybrid. So now we just need to see, okay, I want to have a helmet. I don't know if there is one right now. Oh, there's a couple actually. So those are kind of the helmets that I wanted to have, the one that I have in lab service, and I have the same basically made for the gloves and the boots. The helmet is crafted with the essence of, what is it, loathing with the mana reservation efficiency. The gloves, this is actually a bit different, so let's talk about the boots first. They are crafted with the ailment avoidance, essence, and then we just fix the implicits, chance to avoid elemental ailments, action speed. On the gloves we had fire exposure, very very important, and fire dot multi if you have fan the flames. On the helmet it would be flammability, curse effect, as well as mana reservation efficiency, and then you can also reserve the herald of purity. I fixed that in PUB, so it is the helm that I currently have, but I added these implicits so you can take a look and copy that if you want to. So, talking about the gloves, how did I craft the gloves? This is a question that I get like at least 100 times per stream. So I bought the base, as I said, evasion energy shield with chance to suppress spell damage. It needs to have evasion just because otherwise it cannot roll. Chance to suppress spell damage is an evasion only modifier. And then all I did is buying veiled chaos orbs. And I click on them, I unveil it, you know, and all I want to do is unveil the physical convert to cold damage and then hope that something else on there is decent and maybe I have an open suffix or prefix and I can craft something. This is how these gloves turned out. I think it was like 10 tries or something, and I hit T1 life and T1 dexterity, which is actually insanely good, especially when it comes to dexterity, because everybody that plays the build knows that this build, based on grace and based on determination, has a lot of stat requirements with strength and dexterity, and that's why hitting a T1 dex on gloves, for example, is actually very, very insane. So that saved me a lot of like skill points. I don't even need to use those two notes over here anymore. For the belt, this is actually very interesting too. So I have here a strength belt, basically with just resistance and life, and there is a craft or an unveil that says regenerate 150 energy shield per second while a rare or unique enemy is nearby. This will help you tremendously when you do bossing, because then you regen ES like way faster and it helps your ES sustain. And this is like, I think you should have this mod on there. I think the veiled modifier, the better one, is 200 ES per second, and it is on a crafting bench. It is suffix, so you can just add, you know, life, resistance, strength, dexterity, whatever you need, maybe essence craft with dexterity, and throw on this suffix here and it will help you for boss damage. So Polaric Devastation, your probably best ring. The enemy is covered in ash. Let me actually see if I have checked this one on. Covered in ash. Yeah, it is on. Okay, so we are 5.6 million ignite DPS. Pretty good for the current state, I would say. The Death Rush ring is actually a very, very nice substitution here for mapping. It gives you some Chaos Res, recover 5% life on kill, which is also super nice for mapping. And it gives you Adrenaline for 3 seconds of kill. So for bossing, this ring is useless, right? So Adrenaline PoE, this is basically the one that is from the Champion Ascendancy, whatever, right? And what this does, if I find the wiki here, PoE wiki, Adrenaline, PoE wiki, please. There we go. So Adrenaline gives you increased damage, attack, cast, movement speed, and additional physical damage reduction. It gives you 100% increased damage, 25% increased attack, cast, and movement speed, so it's better than Onslaught, and physical damage reduction. So this is like such a good ring for mapping, and it a perfectly rolled one goes for like 1.5 divines or something like that. So pretty affordable and super easy to do. Other than that, the shield is the next thing. Let's talk about spell suppression. So how do we get to 100 spell suppression? We get, actually, let me put this down on a notepad. It's actually easier to follow. So we do have 14% helmet, 14% gloves, 14% boots, which gives me a total of 42% spell suppression. I hope I wrote this correctly. 42, right? Where do we get the other spell suppression of? Basically, I scaled into the Instinct cluster, which gives me 5, 10, 22. So we're gonna add this here, 22% from let's say yeah, from the cluster or skill tree. And then it's important to skill the mastery. Spell Suppression Mastery says 12% chance to suppress spell damage if your boots, helmet, and gloves have evasion. And since we're using hybrid ES evasion helmets, this is checkmarked, so we get another 12% from the mastery. So now this adds up to 34. So 34 plus 42, so we are currently looking at 76%. So 24% is missing, and we add this on the shield. So I have here a shield, which is a spiked shield, an evasion energy shield base as well, with the implicit 5% chance to suppress spell damage is the base shield. And I have like a T2 roll, I think, spell suppression on it. Yeah, a max roll T2, so it's exactly 24% spell suppression, so we are now at 100% and therefore capped on that. And I think it's pretty good, especially since the instinct also says recover 50 energy shield when you suppress spell damage. And a lot of damage in this game is spell damage, so therefore we have now the energy shield leech, we have the belt regen, we have global recharge with the wicked ward, so it cannot stop while damage. We have energy shield recharge, or at least we gain energy shield when we suppress spell damage on top of that. So now we are looking a lot like a complete world different from the league start when it comes to the ES recovery. I also have like over 2000 ES already, so it's not that bad anymore. It's like barely do I ever catch myself while mapping or doing anything else where I get to this point like, damn dude, I have 0 energy shield, and I cannot use any abilities, and I just like run away like a headless chicken trying to restore some form of energy shield so I can actually attack again, right? This is something from the past with all the sources of the ES regen, leech, recover, restore, gain, whatever. It's a super easy, cheesy thing now, and it is, for me, basically solved. A lot of that thanks to the belt and craft, basically this one you will not have when you have like Mageblood or Headhunter, but these two belts give you like some other benefits, I would say. Good, Flask didn't change. Anything else here did not change. I got myself a Watcher's Eye now, so I have now 100% conversion. Means I have 40% of the Cold Mastery. I get 35 on my gloves, which is 75, and that means I need only 25 on my Hatred Watcher's Eye. I have one with 26. That was actually super cheap, and it actually gives me reduced extra damage from critical strikes while Determination. We do have Determination, so that is like a 60% less damage from critical strikes. Even if I want to, I could invest 3 more points to get another 30% reduced extra damage from critical strikes, and would be somewhere like 87%. So I'm almost crit immune on the build as well if I would spend those 3 points, which I could do if I just put those 2 points away and like maybe the Aura Effect here. But Aura Effect is very, very strong, as I said in the start. But yeah, overall, I would say the build is just getting better by the day. I've been grinding a lot. I've been farming. This is just like the stuff from today or from yesterday. And I have like, I need to like convert a bunch of currency again. I have like over 2,000 jewelers, like almost 2,000 alterations, hundreds of all kinds of things. And I'm just stacking up, bulking up, and yeah, making a good money without finding anything special. Even got like 12 simulacrums already just by grinding maps. But it's so much fun, and I really, really enjoyed it, and can definitely recommend trying out this build if you haven't got yourselves on this build yet. For me, I have like a questionable thingy going on, for example, or at least like what I mean with that is I league started this build now. I'm playing this build now since 8 or 9 days, which is way more than average than I would do on the league start. And I reached a point where I say mid-budget for me is done. Now the next step is farm 200 Divines, get a Mageblood, farm 100 Divines, get a Headhunter, farm 100 Divines, get an Exploding Bow to make the build even better, you know? But I think for the mid-budget version, this is like perfectly suited for me. And now I'm like wondering if I should stop the build and go for the next one, because for me, the league itself is just about farming currency and trying out different builds and whatever, trying out new uniques and so on. And since I league started it up to the mid-game budget, and I played this game in the end-game version last league with an Exploding Bow, with Headhunter, probably a 2,000 Divines investment and stuff, you know, I think I have the entire range of the build covered, because now I would just add one more, one after the other expensive item to reach the end-game status again. So I'm wondering if I should just sell everything, heavily regret when I play the next build because it's gonna be slower, it will have less damage, it's gonna have less clear and like everything less. But in the other hand, it's like, hey, it's still a new league, so I want to try out more than one build. Even though I most likely know that this is gonna be the best build of this league, more or less. Since I found it last league, I'm just fire and flames with the build, and I think it's just fucking awesome. But we're gonna see if I'm gonna regret it or if I'm just gonna continue grinding it out and get like more upgrades, more currency, and yeah, make like a magic finder as a side project or something like that. I'm gonna get my mind up for that. And yeah, guys, path of build link is in the description below as always. And thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.